Silent of fall! Languider's doing it! They're gonna take! He's gonna bring down Bernie! Almost with a double kill! Dropping fast! Monopoint's there! He's still alive! Wait, check his slide! He's going one time! He's going a second! He's taking it! They're overdone! On three! They're all dead!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Summit 2 by G2A.com America. We've got two more games coming up today, both of which featuring Navi US. Here we've got Navi facing off against Pain Gaming. I'm Zayori coming in for Coddle Guy, and we've got Blaze on the horn. Blaze, buddy, how you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good. Had a nice little recharge here, observed a few of the earlier games, and now looking at this matchup, I couldn't think of a better one to round out this evening with. Of course, we just have these two more with you and I, but should be some pretty good ones. Navi US obviously have kind of been running the gauntlet here in Summit America.
Yeah, absolutely. So, pretty hot off their win in the last match over Infinity +4. We'll see if they can carry this momentum forward. That was their first victory of the group stage, and stopping the win streak of the Infinity Stack, who were 2-0 prior today. Pain Gaming, they are 0-1, so of course looking for a win here, and should be a good one. A lot of names we recognize over there. Good old Ned, 4DR, King RD. Just to name a few. Now, Navi US, not without their stand-ins. It'll be the same roster we saw in the game prior, but Grand Grant and Stan King here in the place of 1437 and Brax, who have been not really participating with the team as of late.
Yep, and as far as Grand Grant's history specifically, as far as the competitive Dota, like, he hasn't played that many times. He's played one best-of-3 with them about a month ago, and then he obviously just played a game with them just now with the Tidehunter. So, yeah, limited experience in the competitive scene, but he's played a lot of NEL. He obviously knows the players pretty well to be ringing for them, and well, yeah, we'll see what he brings into this next game here. Not the Tide this time around is going to be banned alongside the Brewmaster by Pain Gaming, but as we see the draft open up, it's going to be initially a Centaur Warrunner, but two heroes that can actually do pretty well against him. Earthshaker can obstruct movement no matter how fast you go, and Viper, he has his own levels of durability. Like, usually you look at Viper and you're like, oh man, Centaur can just kite him all day long, but the one important thing is that Centaur can't just jump in and kill him. Viper's a core with corrosive skin stacked up and one or two tank items that's not going to be dropped down just by a stun combo, and that's actually a really important thing to keep farm on the map.
10 seconds.
Yeah, it's always exciting to see Earthshaker on the side of Navi US, because there's that chance that it's going to be a core shaker, a situation that Korok is quite fond of, and you never know. Could be a support, could be a core. Only time will tell, and in the hands of Navi US at least, kind of that flex pick that you know, most other teams, I think, pretty safe to assume he'll be a support. So we'll see what Pain Gaming does. Both teams taking a lot of time with their initial picks here, actually delving into that reserve time quite a bit.
Yep, so if we're going to see the Ancient Apparition come out. I don't think this is particularly good in counter to either of the two picks we see online, but more involving how Pain want to run this draft in general, which is going to be a little more reserved. Obviously, the Ancient Apparition isn't the best hero to roam and gank with. He packs a punch with the Chilling Touch, but he doesn't have that hard disable. So you're probably going to want to combo him with a hero like a Sand King or a Vengeful Spirit that can set themselves up with a little bit of boots first mobility, and then yeah, in the end, he's still going to be kind of relying on stacking, pulling, and just farming up towards maybe sometimes we see Hand of Midas, sometimes we just see the all-out Aghanims rush while picking up a few wards here and there. But no matter the case, what they want to make sure is that they are able to control the fights pretty well, and even if you see an Anchor hero picked up for Navi, one that sustains through the fights and just causes a real amount of grief, you're going to be denying them lifesteal, you're going to deny them any kind of healing sustainability, and that's going to be how Pain Gaming bring them down.
Yep, certainly so, and potential for some global presence here. They've got the Centaur for the off lane, but he's got the global ulti mixed with Ancient Apparition. You never know. Could start to transition into something more like maybe a Nature's Prophet headed into the jungle or mid lane, as we've seen a few times. Quite a few options. But Pain Gaming will take out Bat Rider, a very good initiator that Navi US could have benefited from quite a bit, and they will take out the Sand King, another great team fight hero that does work well with both Centaur and Ancient Apparition.
Yep. So, still looking at how they want to initiate with their supports. Pain Gaming right now, they really need to
10
figure out how to make
seconds
their laning phase
remaining.
work. Because Viper by himself wins lanes, and Earthshaker through the use of
5
Fissure
seconds
blocking, assuming
remaining.
it's a support shaker. Obviously, we toyed with the idea that Korok could actually be bringing in the crit lord there, but
Reserve time.
yeah, if it is a support shaker, it's just gonna the first couple Fissures can be used to just block out the lane, put them in a superior position where like the offlaner could get experience and things of that nature. So already, I feel really good about Navi US's potential to win out in the laning phase, and that's where Pain Gaming really seemed to lack. Because Centaur's big when he gets a blink, A is big when he gets Ice Blast, but those are things that you can't necessarily rely on in the first 8 or so minutes of the game. So I would have to say they really should be drafting for the lanes, and if Navi US ban out another good initiating support, then Pain Gaming might come up wanting.
Yeah, I certainly can't argue with that. Viper, one of the better lane dominators in the game, if not the best, and curious who they have in mind to try and tango with him. Razor is still in the pool, and a hero that works okay against Viper. I guess you could say better than most. So if he doesn't get banned out, maybe something Pain will consider. They will ban out the Weaver here.
Na'Vi
and
US's
Na'Vi US,
turn
again,
to
both
ban.
teams really taking their time, Blaze, with this draft just in general. Bonus time is going to be of the essence as we get towards these final picks.
Yeah, and I think the big reason is that there's so much ambiguity on the field right now. Nobody knows exactly what is intended with the
10
draft. Like a lot of times you
seconds
see, like
remaining.
obviously in 6.81, you saw 2 pusher heroes and you knew their tempo. You knew
Na'Vi
exactly when they were going to
US's
hit. You knew
turn to
what
pick.
you wanted to do to react to it. This is very obscure. You can go late game with a Viper. You can press early with a Viper. The Earthshaker can be involved like crazy. We've seen a lot of Earthshakers actually just get so involved with the Fissure that it seems like they don't even need the Blink Dagger to be relevant. But at the same time, if the Earthshaker wants to sit back, farm up a few creep waves for himself while allies rotate, he can find that Blink within 8 or 9 minutes time as well. So it really
10
just comes down to
seconds
who they
remaining.
want to prioritize farm on, and as a result, it's hard to ban against that. You don't know
5
their tempo, you
seconds
don't know what they're
remaining.
lacking, and therefore you don't know what they need. So they ban out some good generic heroes here, the Bat Rider, the Weaver.
Reserve
They can
time.
be certainly thorns in their sides if Pain Gaming don't get enough control and get kind of counter-initiating lockdown, but at the same time, it's not something that I think Navi US were gunning for. There's just such a wide open pool right now.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you again on that one. So we'll see as these picks fly through. Vengeful Spirit, the 4th ban from Navi US, taking some of these stunning supports out of the field. Ancient Apparition is great in kind of that tri-lane scenario with the chilling touch, but in lane you can get picked on a little, so Navi will take out some of those supports that can
Mirana.
do the picking. And they'll grab a Mirana here for
Dire team
themselves.
pick.
Most likely a support, your fogged hero perhaps, moving around shooting those arrows.
Yeah. So, I mean, that has a lot of potential there, going for the combos. Fisher Stun isn't the best for setting up arrow because it only starts out at a 1-second duration, but you get just a little bit of surprise factor in there, and Pain Gaming could be caught off guard. It only takes really one good arrow from Rana to make her mark on the early game, and we'll see exactly who's going to be picking up. And I am
Na'Vi
curious who Grand Grant's going to be
turn
running,
to
because
pick.
I wouldn't say he has a fully limited pool, but I think they do need to keep him in mind throughout the draft. They can't just throw him some complicated hero that he's not as experienced with. So far, his pool is Tidehunter, Dazzle, Witch Doctor, and Ancient Apparition, but a lot of that's been either picked or banned. Also, obviously, we saw Sand King playing the Sand King last time, and that was taken off the table. So it looks like maybe he'd probably be able to do well on the Earthshaker if Korok isn't, in
10
fact, picking him
seconds
up.
remaining.
But yeah, I'm still curious how they want to run that Mirana and how they're going to be able to
5
rotate their
seconds
roles
remaining.
to compensate for this draft. PA is specifically a hard hero to deal
Reserve
with.
time.
It's a evasion aspect that you can't counter out with Chronosphere anymore, or even a Doom. Like, you cannot take out this Blur passive without actually going for either Hex mechanics or going for an MKB.
Yeah, and
10
that's
seconds
where this
remaining.
Phantom Assassin is a pretty strong pick, though. Again, it seems like Navi
5
US have their
seconds
2
remaining.
supports picked out, but it could be the Earthshaker mid. Here's probably your Grant hero.
Dire
He was
team
off lane last game, and we'll grab the Elder Titan. So some more kind of team fight presence here, maybe some setup or just some big damage to follow that of the Earthshaker. But kind of an odd draft from Navi US. That last pick will really tie it all together and should give us some insight as to how they want to use these supports. It could always be core Mirana as well, with like a Viper in the safe lane, Elder Titan in the off lane, safe lane farming
10
Mirana. So
seconds
quite a few
remaining.
options, but still not a hell of a lot in terms of dealing with that Phantom Assassin. No
5
kind of
seconds
core
remaining.
MKB carriers. Viper can pick one up, but won't come till later in the game. Sort of same with Mirana. A lot of other core items you'll
Reserve
want to go
time.
for before an MKB comes out. And obviously, no hexes or natural scythe carriers.
Yeah. I would have to say that if
10 seconds
Marana's a
remaining.
core, she would have to pick up a Midas to keep pace with this PA. She really needs to ramp up towards,
5
like you
seconds
said, not just
remaining.
one or two items, but go up all the way to the MKB plus her general
Navi
stat-oriented
US's
items. But
turn
this is
to
going to put some
ban.
pressure out as well. I mean, Viper's pretty tanky, Elder Titan as well, but Earthshaker and Marana can fall pretty quickly to Ogre Magi if they're not careful. And the Ignite Slow is not to be neglected either. Combining that with Cold Feet, you might be able to get the Chain Stun that is going to
10
enable
seconds remaining.
Centaur or PA, both great damage dealers, to follow it up. So wherever
5
this Ogre Magi
seconds
rooms,
remaining.
there should be blood spilling. I mean, obviously, with Corrosive and with Leap, they have a couple heroes with great defensive tools, but I still, I respect the
Dire
Ogre. I
team
think that
back.
there's a lot of potential with this hero, and just being very active early, maybe pick up a Soul Ring to spam out his spells, and just be a very frustrating force to deal with that will later on just kind of infuse his team with damage through Bloodlust.
Yeah. Now, this final ban from Navi
10
US
seconds
seems a little
remaining.
strange to me, as they already have 4 melee heroes on Pain Gaming,
5
usually
seconds remaining.
not a sign that a Faceless Void will be that final pickup. I mean, the AA ulti synergizes
Reserve
very
time.
well, but aside from that, I don't see a hell of a lot of synergy with the
Navi
Faceless Void.
US's
It'll be an
turn
Ember
to
Spirit final pick, though, for Navi US,
Dire
and we'll see what
team
Pain
pick.
Gaming want to do. So it will indeed be a support Earthshaker as well as a support Marana here, Blaze.
Very interesting indeed. Yeah, I think the Void is just because of the fact that Ember can be controlled really well with things like Chronosphere, and like you said, the Ice Blast works very well. Yeah, the multi-melee aspect doesn't make it a very convincing pickup, but I still think it would have been one that causes Ember difficulty. And the entire intention here is for Ember Spirit to be enabled. Ember Spirit
10
can deal with
seconds
the
remaining.
Phantom Assassin by kiting her through Searing Chains, through his couple of
5
abilities there that
seconds
give him
remaining.
mobility, and he can deal with the Ancient Apparition and Ogre Magi by popping that Flame Guard. Just absorbing so much damage from Ice Blast, from whatever Ogre throws out, even the Centaur jumping on him. Ember Spirit's going to feel really comfortable moving about the map here, and I think this is going to be the linchpin of their lineup, is enabling this Ember Spirit to do as much as possible, and I guess the Razor pick is just to try to deactivate that, try to get the Static Link on him, make his Sleight of Fist pretty much worthless, and move about the battlefield from there. But yeah, now all the pieces are in play. Who do you favor throughout this draft?
It's an interesting draft on both sides of the coin. I do like that Razor last pick. We mentioned it earlier on in the draft, and I think they'll try to match King RD up against the Viper, if at all possible. And if they can get that, maybe they can slow him down a little. Navi US will end up laning, let's see, Snake King on the Viper. So it seems more likely that he'll be in the safe
Prepare
lane, and
for
it will be
battle.
the mid-Ember Spirit played by Korok. So Ember Spirit versus Razor mid. Yeah, that'll be a little bit tricky for the Ember. I kind of like this Navi US lineup better, but I don't think they have the ease of execution advantage. They have a lot more skill shots, and you know, with arrows, with fissures, with earth splitters, if they can connect with them, they'll be able to do a lot of work, but easier said than done in a lot of these scenarios, Blaze.
Very true, very true. Now, I know you're all about the cosmetics. I think you should go ahead and check out the Radiant Courier there and the awesome pickup they were able to get for their cosmetics.
Whoa! I didn't even know that courier still existed. The little donkey.
That's a mythical right there in Rarity, you know? You just never get to see that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wow, Coddle Guy likes his minimap icons
30
big, man.
seconds
It's like
to
somebody was drawn on the minimap with a crayon here. Ooh, Navi US, they'll get a little bit of a ward victory as they throw down a sentry, and that'll free up one of their jungle camps here and take out one of 2 Dire Observers. So a little vision advantage coming out. They still have 1 Observer remaining on the side of old Netty here, Flanders. And we'll see where he wants to put it down, but probably will be in vision of this top rune, and yep, there it is. Goes down right in the top lane, and we'll get some vision of Grand
The
Grant.
battle begins.
Yeah, but even with this combo, they're gonna get a couple right clicks maybe, but he's got Boots Burst. They're wasting mana right here, and I guess not that big of a deal since their spells aren't gonna be that costly right now. Like, they can still go ahead and cast 2 more Fire Blasts. They'll still get a couple more Chilling Touches out, so not the end of the world, but they definitely aren't gonna get anything out of that other than just a little bit of brute threats. Like, they're just saying, get out of here, there's no chance you're gonna actually hold the line against us. But Elder Titan doesn't need to. He's a hero that'll just sit under tower, ask for Spirit when the creep wave comes his way, and he'll get his levels one way or another. So they're threatening, but all they're gonna be really doing is stacking and pulling for the early stages. Maybe 1 roam on mid with that smoke.
Yeah, so let's introduce some rosters here. Radiant side, we've got Navi US. It'll be Snake King in the safe lane on the Viper. That puts Stan King on the Marana, who's roaming around, had an invisibility rune level 1, missed the first arrow, and now will head bottom. Grand Grant here on the Elder Titan, headed to the off lane. Fogged on the support Earthshaker. That puts Korok mid. on this Ember Spirit. He'll be up against King RD on the Lightning Revenant Razor. Offline, it'll be, who is this? Grent XD here on the offlane Centaur.
Oh, King RD's going to go down.
Oh, is he? The Fissure? He might still live. Boots?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, he has the boots. He has the boots. So
Yeah.
he'll be okay.
His middle
Fogged will
tower
chase
is
him
under
down.
attack.
Would love to get the kill, but I don't see it. So, yeah, no, but it was just like that Fissure coming out. Obviously, it's only 1 second duration, but Searing Chain's Fissure, I mean, he goes down so damn quick. Luckily, the boots first allows him to kind of dance around this Ember Spirit quite a bit, but you got to be very careful when the supports are off the map like that.
Yeah, definitely. So just to finish it off here, Ned will be supporting up top on the AA, 40R on the position 1 Phantom Assassin, and QQQ on McGee. He'll be working the jungle, pulling and stacking. He did go boots first and already finds his level 2, so he's kind of in ganking shape if he finds a good opportunity. Fogged will camp out this top rune spot, and Korok, nope, no bottle quite yet, just sitting on that poor man's shield. And his pooled tangos down bottom. Stan King will grab the illusion rune, but does get stunned up by the Centaur. It will repel. Arrow flies through, will be off the mark, and Centaur will be not much worse for wear.
Korok's going to be building up towards his Flame Guard, probably the best skill for Ember early to max out, but it does mean that although he's going to be able to nullify damage from Plasma Field, he's still going to be trained on by the Static Link. He's going to have his damage stolen, he doesn't have the movement speed advantage, so he's going to be stabbed continuously, and he really just can't contribute much to that. That was actually the big issue with that first gank, is he had already exhausted his Flame Guard very early, just I think for creeps, and then when he actually went onto the Razor, he already had been at like minus 18 in damage for at least a couple autos. We do see up top the big flank coming out. Grant very far out of position.
Yeah, he does have some ward coverage, so kind of saw it coming, but he's in big trouble. He'll get fire blasted, a lot of damage coming out, and there's your first blood. QQQ on the Ogre will give him the fiery torch, and Gramp finds the first death of the game. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, diving onto the Centaur, Fissure will lock him in place, and now Snake King finds a kill. So Navi US strike back, both offlaners fall, but needless to say, Pain Gaming live up to their name and get an extra bounty for that first blood.
What do you think about the fact that they put the Viper down bottom instead of in the mid lane and had Ember Spirit in this matchup? Do you think he's going to be able to rubber band after he hits 6, or is he going to be in a bad state of affairs for the first entire early game?
Korok's looking okay now as the arrow flies through, and this will answer your question here, Blaze. He'll find a kill, or can he? Stealing all that damage. The lightning doesn't stop sapping your damage, even if you're stunned, but Korok has the fire from the shield, and that will secure him the kill. Nice setup with the Searing Chains into arrow. Finds that 2-second duration as he's level 5, and I think with that kill, now Korok is just fine. But before that, I would have said, well, a little bit of a gamble if Mirana can hit some arrows, and, well, following the words of Sing Sing, shoot arrow, hit arrow.
Yeah, and now that the Ember Spirit has 2 points in Searing Chains, he's a really good hero to set that up. So he could just go ahead and enable that very frequently. King RD has to constantly watch the creep wave here and play a lot more passively than he'd prefer against this Ember. We're going to see Regen Rune come out for the Earthshaker. Ember Spirit will bottle up that Bounty Rune. So although he's still lacking in boots, at least he has pretty much an unlimited mana pool considering his spells here.
Yep, and another Static Link is Stan King hovering around the mid lane, as is Fogged, and they're possibly looking for another setup on the King RD. Korok pings him out, and they really want to make this kill happen, but can they actually find the proper angle? Arrow flies through, just barely whiffs, but in comes the Fissure. Searing Chains connect, and they'll try to chase him down here. Do they actually have the damage to finish off the Razor? Doesn't look like it, and 4DR will TP in, hops onto Korok, brings him down after a dagger to the face. Now King RD getting aggressive on Fogged. Doesn't have any damage from a Static Link, but will have Plasma Field right onto Stan King. The whip's starting to add up. Mirana doesn't have a leap. King RD finds another one, and it'll be a 2-for-0 here in the mid lane. Maybe they can find Fogged. King RD still hanging around. Nope, he'll be able to fog and live up to his name. Now, meanwhile, in the top lane, Grant in trouble once more. Ned rotating up top. There's your fire blast from the Ogre. It's a dead Elder Titan. And Pain Gaming grabbing a lot of momentum as they get a turnaround in the mid and take out the Elder Titan once more.
Yeah, all of his mana issues resolved with this Arcane Boot, so he can just keep making these plays happen if Grant overstays his welcome there. Magic Stick, it'll help a little bit, but now that the Ogre is up to level 4, soon to be level 5, he just doesn't do enough. That 15 HP from the charges. 40R, he's caught in a weird spot, but he can Phantom Strike across the Fissure, and he will be okay. But yeah, just a great turnaround specifically in the mid lane. That was just absolutely immense. Knowing that they were just going to keep on trying for that. Every time King RD moves forward, the supports look to respond on the back of Korok's Searing Chains. But in that case, they were ready for him. They got a big TP, a hero that usually won't rotate this early. But the PA, putting the assassin back in Phantom Assassin as she's able to really move forward in the net worth. Still, the leader here is going to be snaking at 3,200 net worth. He is free farming down bottom, and obviously got that 1 kill on Centaur.
Yeah, that kill really helping him out in terms of the bottom line there, and it looks like he'll just move straight into a mech. Powered Treads, Basilius now has that headdress up, so fairly standard stuff coming out of the Viper. And let's see, is King RD possibly going to be the mech carrier for Pain Gaming? Most likely, but still a little early on, has completed its Power Treads. Invisibility rune in the bottle. Maybe looking to get a little aggressive with it is Ned, soon to be level 4, rotates in, but bottom lane, Centaur gets dove by Snake King, and that'll further his farm even more. The last hit leader, and now 2-0-0, pushing him further ahead. Now back to the mid. King RD caught inside of the fissure, Searing Chains to follow, but the arrow can't connect. And it will be another failed gank for Na'Vi US here in the mid lane on the Lightning Revenant.
Yeah, he did have the Invis rune, so that certainly helped him out there. But I got to say, with the Centaur, this is now the first time, obviously, he didn't go have a TP scroll because he couldn't get away from that Viper after the ulti came out. And he's going back to the lane without one. He's going down to the bottom lane with only Tranquil Boots. And if Snake King drops another Viper Strike on him in about 40 seconds here, there's another real good solo kill possibility. So Grant, without Stampede, without a TP scroll, I got to wonder what he's doing. But I guess it's no worse than how Grant is faring up top. So it's mostly come down to the mid lane, shifting the equilibrium.
Yeah, that's true. Both offlaners having a very rough time. 0-2 within actually one last hit of each other. They'll be pretty zeroed out here. And oh no, Centaur only has one. Pardon me, I was looking at the Earthshaker. Oh wow. Yeah, Grent getting very little here in the bottom lane. Absolutely nothing. Will at least find level 5, and hitting 6 is kind of that first milestone for the Centaur. But as you pointed out in the draft with this laning phase, Elder Titan, he's not the big tempo controller. They're not counting on him to get an early Blink Dagger and move around and help set up kills. They're just hoping that Grant can find some experience and contribute a little bit later on that natural order in the Earth Splitters. And speak of the devil, Grant up top will get stunned up. 40R, he goes in on it. Coup de grace will do a lot of damage, but Grant barely survives. The TP in will be enough to scare back the PA. Tries to TP out, takes a few tower shots, but will live. Makes it back to the well. The poison from Viper almost brings him down, but in the end, he does survive.
Just barely. And he's going to be able to build up drums pretty soon on the back of that. But yeah, a lot of rotations, good use of TP scrolls there. The PA, yeah, it's 2 scrolls in the 8-minute mark. That's actually pretty strong for a Phantom Assassin. But we'll see Korok go in, try to bring down Ned. The Searing Chains, unfortunately, will connect on the 2 illusions. And just for safety, Ned will TP away.
That's unlucky for Korok there. Yeah, had pretty good odds on it. 3 targets. And hits on the 2 that he wasn't looking for. So, well, sometimes that'll happen.
Oh, no.
Murata, though, wow, is she poor. Literally no items in the inventory.
Yeah. Started out with purely consumables, and the roaming just hasn't been great. One good arrow, like I said, I can define the early game, but she really, that gave value to the Ember Spirit more so than giving it to her mid lane.
Yeah, King RD's in some trouble. Sleight of Fist. Korok will barely be able to finish him off. Grent comes in, but can't find any kind of a return kill. Meanwhile, top lane, Snake King in some trouble, more than a little. 4DR will get a coup de grace to bring him down, and it's a 1-for-1 across the map. 2 cores fall, 1 apiece. And Grant, he'll TP to the bottom lane, find a little bit of recovery farm on this Elder Titan, who's only level 5. Centaur has at least found his level 6 after that rotation mid, and still not much progression towards that Blink Dagger. So, Blaze, Centaur, normally this mid-game tempo controller, we're looking at like 15 to 20 minutes for this Blink Dagger on Centaur, depending on how things go. Maybe we'll hold that thought as King RD in the mid lane. Searing Chains, arrow misses again, but now the Stampede. They're looking for a return kill here in the mid. Snake King will TP in. Viper Strike at the ready. Also has a mechanism online. Now King RD caught inside of the Searing Chain. Stan King, no arrow quite yet, but King RD will go down. Off to the side, QQQ will take a strike from the Snake King, but able to walk away. He'll mech up and everyone survives. So just a 1-0, but how much does this hurt Pain Gaming, not having a Centaur who can control any sort of tempos?
Well, I mean, if the Stampedes were a little bit better, then I think that it would still be okay. He'd still be doing a lot of utility. But that one right there just helped Razor walk right into his death, as they weren't really as defensively postured as they needed to be. They feel like they have a lot of momentum under this back of this Ogre with the multicast, but he's gone for a build with Max Ignite, which doesn't really benefit that much from the ultimate. So in the end, there's not that much surprising burst. He'll get some good farm, but I would much rather have farm on the Centaur War Runner than on the Ogre. So although he's doing well, the fact that Grant has had such a rough time, I mean, he's below his supports, and that's just, it's going to be a very limiting factor for an extended period. They're not going to be able to set up Ice Blasts, and it's just going to be a rough time until he actually picks that one up.
Yeah, he's almost level 6. He's getting there. We'll leech a little experience up top, and we'll finally see some Ice Blasts come out into the field. Bottom lane, wow, Centaur barely walks through that little lip right there. Doesn't even look like there's a spot in those bushes, but was able to walk through the fissure. And Grant will take an interesting build here and actually gets a value point in the Echo Stomp and putting some more points in the Astral Spirit. So we've seen, since that last patch where Natural Order is a little bit more valuable early on, more and more often Elder Titans grab an Echo Stomp point earlier before level 9. And we'll see if Grant can put it to good use here. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, King RD in some trouble. The Stampede enough to help him sidestep the arrow. Now 4DR TP's in, looking for the opening, throws a dagger onto Fog. Phantom Strike will connect, and they'll be able to chop him down. It looks like, oh, not quite enough damage. Korok coming in to try and save his buddy. They'll still lose the Earthshaker, but it will cost King RD. Fog gets off a nice fissure before he goes down. 4DR going in onto Korok. Moonlight Shadow deployed. And it's a 1-for-1 here in this trade, but 4DR in some serious trouble. Just getting burned down by the fire. No detection. Nowhere for him to go. But QQQ is here. Can they bring down the Ember Spirit? No, they can't. We'll be able to remnant back to safety. And that'll be the end of it. Before that happened, we did miss the kill onto Grant. Looks like Ogre was able to finish him off in the bottom lane with the help of the Centaur.
Yeah, and that was actually a really close call for Korok. He almost got baited into going hard onto the PA, but if he hadn't bailed out right when he did, that would have been a kill the other way. Ned actually might go down to Fountain. Yes, he will. The damage over time is sufficient. The Magic Stick is not, and that's so brutal.
That
when
was
you have the effects and you just can't escape them.
Yeah, that was rather ambitious from Ned, though. I don't know if you saw that setup, but he came in with a close-range Ice Blast just to kind of harass the Viper. I don't think he had any real solo kill potential. Didn't even connect with the full damage of the Ice Blast, and then said, oh, shit, I better TP out. And it wasn't enough. He TP'd almost right away, so I'm not sure what the general strategy was. Maybe hoping the Centaur could TP in a little bit sooner and find a kill there, but whatever his plan was, it'll more than backfire, and he will fall down while he's taking a bath. Navi US are smoked up with their 2 supports, Stan King and Fogged, rotating towards the top. They'll see Grant on the Centaur, and they'll see if they can set something up with an arrow. Arrow flies through, Fissure connects, and this will be an easy one. Snake King will just click him down, Nether Toxin adds up, and freebie on the Centaur.
Although, we actually will see down bottom the Ice Blast connect onto Grant, and yeah, 40R will be able to just
another freebie.
No chance for the Echo Stomp there, but I will mention those smokes were involved in those 2 ganks. I feel that Observer Ward vision is a key aspect of Navi US finding that opportunity to go up top. You can't know when Mirana and Earthshaker are missing because they're roaming so often, and they literally only have 1 ward that's about to expire in 25 seconds. So Pain really need to get those observers up really quickly, or I think it's going to get out of control before you know it. I mean, right now it's even kills, but Navi US have some really well snowbally/scaling heroes, and yeah, just a couple more, and Korok's going to be moving very quickly to that Battle Fury.
Yeah. They're also farming more effectively. They have a 2,000 gold lead, about 1,500 experience. They've now killed the first tower, so even though it is tied up in hero kills, Navi US still okay with the momentum they have now. Snake King about to get sandwiched upon, but out comes the Moonlight Shadow. No detection on the side of the Dire. So this could be a little bit scary. They'll go in onto 4DR. Viper Strike to start things off. Ice Blast will fly in, but now 4DR caught by the fissure. They'll try to bring him down. Meanwhile, on the backside, we'll see Snake King now taking a lot of damage. Korok flying through. There's your Stampede, but Centaur locked in place. Comes in with a double edge. It'll cost him his life as Fogged drops the Echo Slam right on top of him. A lot of damage coming out from the Ember Spirit, but Ogre, he gets left behind. He gets turned into a sandwich. It's a 2-for-0 so far. Searing Chains from long range. Fire Remnants to follow up. Razor gets chopped down. A double kill for Korok, and it will end as a 3-for-0 in favor of Navi US.
Yeah, if Pain Gaming are going to take fights like that, they need to do it within the duration of the Ice Blast. After that Ice Blast is gone, the mech comes out, and the fact that they don't have a mech on their Razor becomes very, very clear. Snake King just going to get clipped by that Ice Blast. We'll see if the Corrosive is enough to keep him up, but he is going to drop pretty quickly. Luckily, that Magic Armor, as well as the level 1 Ice Blast, will keep him alive and keep him from the Shadow Threshold.
Mid lane, Korok finds a solo kill on the Phantom Assassin, also ends a killing spree streak. He's now on a mega kill, and all of a sudden this Ember Spirit is topping the charts, and following that fight, Navi US with a very significant lead, 5,000 golden experience. and they are looking damn strong.
Dire's
Korok
middle
very
tower
close to his
is under
Battle Fury,
attack.
has the Perseverance, and only a couple hundred gold away from the 2 swords to give him that cleave that he so desperately desires. Grant's found some decent recovery as well after that slow start. He's now level 8, only 400 gold in his pocket with power treads and a bracer, but he's doing a bit better than that Centaur, who still isn't even halfway to that Blink Dagger, and we're now 16 minutes in.
Yeah. I mean, right now the mech advantage is, I think, the biggest deal right now. I mean, in general, Viper is going to have like a 61.4% win rate when you get the mech really early, like before 10 minutes. And he got his at like 8.5, 9 minutes. So he's already been able to make a lot out of it. But on top of that, has the treads and the point boosters. So the mana issues really aren't there. The fact that he can sustain his team very well is there. And yeah, Ned is just like, he's getting good Ice Blasts off, but if they're not ideal and if Pain isn't ready to follow up immediately, aka having a Blink Dagger on Grant, then half the duration is going to be gone before you actually get any kill attempts, and then obviously the mech keeps everybody alive. So Navi US, they just have the effective HP advantage right now, and Pain, they have to kind of spread the map and just farm it out because they're not going to be taking 5-on-5s.
Yeah, Battle Fury's now up on Korok, so he's cleaving around, he's hitting hard, and now he's team fight ready, and of course that farming potential will go up quite a bit. Fogged on the level 8 Earthshaker. At this rate, he's going to have a Blink Dagger way ahead of the Centaur, which is pretty scary given that he's a position 4 versus this position 3 Centaur, and already has his Arcane Boots to go on top of it with 1,700 gold in savings. Mid lane, Snake King just tanking this tower, laying into it. The glyph's already been used, but up top, King RD gets bumped into by a double damage Korok. He doesn't have a double damage rune. Never mind, those are just it's the lightning there. Won't be able to find the kill as the Razor does TP out. So if it was a double damage, it would have been a kill, but that's my bad. My eye's playing with me here, Blaze. Getting old. My birthday's tomorrow.
Just stacking up the age stacks there, but yeah, we'll see. Just passivity ensue for now, and that's going to favor Pain trying to get back into this because they need this Phantom Assassin to be able to tank through the first few pot shots here. I mean, if you just get hit by like an Echo Slam and a Viper Strike and you're going down, you have some real problems. But once she gets this BKB up and maxes out her Blur, she's actually going to be able to stay on the front lines pretty much the entire duration of the fight. And that Bloodlust isn't ranked up yet, but will be enhancing not only her movement speed, but her attack speed, staying on targets and getting all those crits out. So very important that she survives because she's already essentially got the offensive aspect laid out for her.
Yep. TP's down bottom from Navi US as it looked like Pain Gaming wanted to go for a 1-for-1 tower trade. They won't be able to do much damage to it. Stan King will get jumped on by 40R, but will leap to the high ground, uses the Moonlight Shadow, and Mirana will survive, and they'll use this for setup up top. And oh, Grant, he double edges creeps right before they're going to come in on him and makes that kill so easy. Korok will be able to burn him down with the fiery bolas, and that'll just further his farm, further his streak, and well, do we even need to say it? This Centaur still one step further away from that precious Blink Dagger.
Exactly. Just continuously put away, and Blink Dagger unfortunately is an item that you have to stack up a bunch of unreliable gold on just to try to get to it, and that leaves you vulnerable to these pickoffs. And the worst thing is that they're giving all these kills to the Ember Spirit, a hero that can do so much with that income. I mean, the Battle Fury at this stage is already absolutely insane, but being able to build off of that into more kills and more creeps is awesome. He's going to use the Remnant to scout now, will not be jumping into that voluntarily, so it looks like they're just going to keep on flanking. But if they get one more pickoff and they can continue to halt the momentum of Pain, I really don't see where they get him back into the game. I don't see where they're able to rally other than just like farming the opposite sides of the map and staying away from the Ember Spirit as much as possible.
Yeah, they've got a lot of problems now where this Razor's farm is rather lackluster. No mech, not even going for it, just looking towards a Black King bar. And PA is a pretty momentum-based hero, and sure, this BKB will give 40R a nice burst in momentum, but will it be enough is a totally different question. Now Snake King has his Aghanim Scepter complete. He was able to solo down that bottom tier 1 tower. It's now 3-0 in total tower count, and dare we look at this graph, yeah, over 7,500 gold, 5,000 experience in the favor of the Radiant. Speaking of Snake King down bottom, leaving you a Stampede for this, and they will have the damage to bring him down. Cold Feet does come through. That'll lock him in place, but creating some space up top for the rest of Navi US to chip at this tier 2 tower. Glyph is available, so Pain could make a hold. Now, a little pick-off like that is a step in the right direction. They get a 1,400 net worth trade just for that kill there, given the lead that Navi US has. So Well, I guess you can't call that insignificant, but they'll
Dire's
still need
top
quite a
tower
bit more.
is under attack.
Yeah. With the newfound Aghanim Scepter, it looked like Snake King was just trying to relive the glory days of 12 minutes ago when he was able to get that nice solo kill with his first Viper Strike. But even with the extended range, kind of catching an opponent off guard, at best you're forcing up the Stampede, and in this case, obviously, he was overextending to his death. So, way too much there. But look at Fog. He's going in with the Blink Dagger. I think he'll solo kill Ned.
Radiant's
Oh,
bottom tower
yeah,
is under attack.
more than enough damage. He just whomps him down with that totem. Oh, man, it's showing off that Blink Dagger, and to be fair, the Ancient Apparition has no stats outside of that Magic Wand, so he is a pretty easy kill, but always impressive to see the Earthshaker just drop the hammer like that.
Dire's middle
Yeah,
tower
he's
is
got
under
the
attack.
Urn of Shadows on the core. Not that
Radiant's
that would have
bottom
saved him or
tower
anything,
is
but
under
he's trying to
attack.
tank up. You can see that he realizes that he doesn't have enough going for him right now, and he's not going to just go like hard rush for an Aghanim Scepter. But Fog just has this massive advantage as he's been roaming more
Radiant's
effectively,
bottom tower
farming
has
well.
fallen.
44 CS is not bad at all for an Earthshaker at
Dire's
this
middle
stage
tower
in
is
a
under
support
attack.
sense. So moving in and now looking to slam down dozens of creeps at a time. He's in a great position with his Blink and his
Dire's
level
top
2 ultimate.
tower is
Yeah,
under
and speaking
attack.
of Blink Daggers, good old Centaur, Grent's got it in
Dire's top
21
tower
minutes
has
in,
fallen.
level 11, but that Blink Dagger getting delivered as we
Dire's
speak from the
middle
Courier.
tower is
They will
under
lose their
attack.
tier 2 tower top lane as Korok finishes it off, but the issue with the Blink at this timing on Centaur is not only the time that he could have been controlling tempos where he isn't, but now when he blinks in, at this stage, you'd hope he has another core item to follow it up just to help beef him up. Now, if he blinks in and double edges, they can just man up on him. And what does the Centaur do? He's got no stats, and a typically tanky hero is not looking quite so strong. We'll see some initiation here in the mid lane as Snake King. Viper Strike onto QQQ. The long-range arrow connects from downtown. And McGee will get that bacon shaved off his back. Now Snake King gets initiated on. There's that blink double edge from the Centaur. Does set up the kill onto Viper. And makes it a 1-for-1. Advantageous for Pain Gaming as they not only make a 1-for-1 trade, but will secure a deny on this tier 2 tower mid.
Yeah, and that's the main thing that this Blink Decker can accomplish right now is punish overextensions. So if Korok or Snake King play with fire a little bit too much, dive underneath tier 2s and such, then the Centaur is definitely going to be the hero to punish that because he's about as quick in his cast animation as the Fire Blast from Ogre, but the fact that you're right on top of them with the Blink Dagger gives them less room for maneuverability. So it definitely is going to be the better option for getting a pick-off, and we'll see if he can roam around maybe with the Ogre a little bit and find those crazy burst combos. Because Ogre, he's not that far off from his Aghanim Scepter, only 600 gold. And yeah, if there's one silver lining beyond the fact that they have some pretty good carries, it's the fact that QQQ is about to just double up his burst potential.
Yeah, a pretty scary item in the hands of Ogre. When he hits level 11 in particular, getting those multi-casts back-to-back with your refined and unrefined can be pretty troublesome, especially given that Navi US have no BKBs and nobody really working towards one, at least not quite yet. Bottom, we'll see a Stampede used, but Fog comes in with the counter kill. Centaur, he just gets obliterated. The arrow flies through, doesn't connect on QQQ, but the Earth Splitter will. That'll slow him down. In comes the Remnant. Bolas will connect from Korok, and it'll be a quick 2-for-0 in the bottom lane. Navi US hitting him with the chips.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. I mean, the fact that they went for the Stampede completely gave away the fact that they were going for an Ice Blast play, and they should have just gone for the Blink Stun first and Stampede after. But instead, they lose their lives. Now, up on top lane, it's going to be a BKB TP for the Razor. I mean, they don't have anything to prevent it, but that's not how you want to use your first BKB. This is a first item BKB, by the way. I mean, Treads, Aquila, those are items, of course, but they're not significant ones. The first major item coming out from the Razor is already at 90% value.
Yep, absolutely. So that'll be the end of the outer towers for Pain Gaming. Snake King will get another tower kill under his belt. They do lose their tier 1 mid down to the PA. Snake King will get a little bit manned up on here by old Razor, and he'll TP back to safety. So Navi US still continuing their reign of dominance, holding on to that 7,500 to 1,000 gold lead, about where they were a few minutes ago. But now some big items coming out. Korok's found his crit, the full Daedalus, sitting back at home, and that'll be delivered before too long. Grant has picked up a Force Staff, another 1,000 gold to boot, and even a Force Staff up on Fog. So he's very mobile now with the Blink Dagger and the Force. Snake King just looking to tank up, has a Vitality booster. I imagine it'll turn into a Heart of Tarask once farm allows. So big items coming out on the side of the Radiant. Dire, they've got a couple of BKBs. Ogre, 200 gold away from the Aghanims. But the BKBs, they're kind of the safe choice. They don't really do much against this Ember Spirit who's going to be critting all over the place. And again, look at this, 4DR. Burns his BKB, TP's out. That's two 10-second BKB charges used literally for a TP.
Yeah, I mean it's necessary to keep them alive, but I don't feel that it's worth it in any capacity of how well they've invested into these items and how much they've accomplished with them. I mean, even in subsequent fights, like you're nullifying some good chain stuns, but as you mentioned, this Korok doesn't care anything about the BKBs. He's still gonna be jumping in, cleaving insanely hard, and yeah, even the evasion and the armor of the PA won't care about this Battle Fury cleave, so Slaughterfest on targets that are close to her are going to be devastating her anyways, and yeah, Korok just really has their number. This is absolutely insanely fast on the Daedalus timing, and actually they're going to interrupt Ned's TP, so just move more, fish to fry. It's really lambs to the slaughter here.
Yep, Flanders gets cut down by the fiery swords of the Ember Spirit, and Korok now 9-1-2. There's a big bounty on his head, but not much slowing down that momentum here anytime soon. At least doesn't look like it. Grent comes in, whiffs the hoof stomp in the mid lane, and now he'll just hoof it back to safety. They won't be able to punish it, but no initiation going to be found there.
Like, I don't know how you deal with Korok at this point. Like, I was looking at the Blink Daggers and opening to get a couple of pickoffs if he got cocky, because Korok obviously is a variable player, and when he is really, like, playing intensely careful and when he's trying to go for the big plays. And I thought there was some room to really punish errors, but here, like, he can two-shot people. He doesn't have to extend in his position, because if he's anywhere near them, they're already dead.
Mm-hmm. Now, he is very susceptible to RNG. Go back to that Ogre who now has the Aghanims, and it's a little scary when you've got double Fire Blast coming out. If he gets really lucky and gets even just a 2x into a 2x, that'll take Korok pretty low, lock him in place long enough for that PA to come in and do a lot of damage. So without a BKB, he's still in that glass cannon. Does come down to positioning, of course. They will finish off Roche. Ember Spirit grabs the Aegis, so now he'll have a second life they'll have to deal with, and King RD will be completely repelled. With that BKB complete, he'll now move into an Aghanim Scepter and about 1,300 gold away from finishing it up. Ned, he gets crit, walks into the danger zone, and yeah, he's going to get killed once again. I'm starting to feel bad for old Neddy.
Yeah, at this point, like, I mean, it's kind of what you signed up for as an Ancient Apparition. You got a target on your back as the easiest to kill support in this entire game right now. Like, the Mirana has her leap. Obviously, we've seen Fog juke and jive with his blink. Now he's a 4-staff. The Ogre is naturally tanky. If anybody's going to be dying this game, it's going to be the Ancient Apparition. But to this magnitude, I mean, dying 4 times, most of them very recently, it looks bad. It's not any worse than you would expect, but it does look pretty nasty.
Yeah, now PA does have a Skull Basher complete, so we'll have that extra RNG for some crits. And, well, that's good. Core item on the PA. Gives them some more RNG chance. Again, if you get a lucky bash on Korok and your team is there to follow up with some damage, maybe you can bring him down and start regaining some momentum. But still, this PA is just so squishy. And even with a BKB, can't really man up too easily.
Yeah, and they still don't have great vision. Like, they have one ward that you would usually place at the beginning of the laning phase. They have that up to cover the top rune spawn, but they don't really have anything that'll control their jungle in full. Definitely not on bottom rune. Another arrow coming out on Ned. Doesn't even get the chance to use his Ice Blast. Like, this is brutal. Just absolutely brutal.
King RD looking for the kill on Stan King. Knows where he is, despite the Moonlight Shadow. Compliments of that link, and will find the kill there. But can Na'Vi US find vengeance for their fallen support? They might not even need to, because, hey, down bottom, Na'Vi US commencing some of the Rat Dota, doing a lot of damage to this Tier 3 tower. There is a glyph for Pain Gaming, but not using it, at least not yet. PA up in the top lane will grab a Tier 2 tower, but they nearly get a Tier 3 out of this. And all things considered, I think an okay trade for Na'Vi US. They expect their outer towers to go down at some point, but the Tier 3s, they'll be happy to do that much damage and trade a 1-for-1 with supports. Bola's out onto Grent. Korok standing on the high ground to give some vision. There's your Viper Strike. Stampede used defensively. Korok gets jumped on by 4DR, but the follow-up is there. Fogged with the big damage before he can even BKB. PA's down. Now the Snake King on the retreat. King RD will use his Black King bar, but to very little avail. And Na'Vi US, again, very happy with that exchange as they drop the PA. And Korok doesn't even lose his... Oh, he does lose his Aegis, pardon me.
Yeah.
But still, not so shabby as PA is... No, does have a buyback. Okay, they'll lose their Tier 3. PA, nope, still no buyback. Centaur just gets caught in the bolas and chopped down. Barracks exposed, still a glyph available. King RD getting slowed hard. Echo Stomp from Grant. Pump faking and just kind of zoning him out for now. Okay, that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, Ember Spirit is usually a hero that has a really hard time sieging buildings. The Sleight of Fist, Battle Fury doesn't really help his ability to kill off the structures. But here he's just had pretty much the run of the mill, and that Pain, anytime they come to respawn, they're getting hit by something else. That's not just the Ember Spirit himself, but the backup. The Fissures coming out from the Earthshaker, the other Titan dropping at least some spirits to enhance damage. Like, right now they just don't have any answers, and it comes down to the draft a little bit. How they had these supports that couldn't control very well, and Navi US were the ones that were more proactive about making things happen, particularly in the mid lane. But it also comes down to how that bottom lane fared and how they don't just have to worry about the Ember Spirit, but they have to worry about the Earthshaker and the Viper because of how hard the Centaur fed as well. It's just, in this position, it's just, they're rolling in money, and this net worth value is out of control. I mean, you look at where it went wrong, and they started ramping up hard around like the 12-minute mark.
Korok coming in, going for a double Daedalus here, will get stunned up, bites off way more than he can chew, and PA ends the godlike streak, gets a huge bounty off that, and now they'll use the Stampede aggressively and lacking the detection. They'll see Grand Grant here, BKB used by King RD. Grand Grant will try and TP home, he'll be successful. So far, just a 1-0, and it looks like that's where this fight will peter out, as all of Navi US on the defensive. Stan King will TP out after moving into the tree line. So Korok, although strong, still a glass cannon and not unkillable. They get about a 2,000 net worth swing for grabbing that solo pick. They'll need a few more of those to really get back into this game, though, Blaze.
Yeah, I mean, they've enabled Korok so much that even though he lost his life there, that gave a lot of gold to Pain, but it didn't set him back at all. He's still going to have a second Daedalus here before the 35-minute mark. He's been farming insanely well, and all they have to do is wait for the next Earth Cycle. I mean, they've already broken a Tier 3, which is challenge enough for Navi US's lineup, but now that that's gone, with an Aegis, they can just literally walk up to the racks, and Pain don't have a response. I mean, the BKB is still at 9 seconds for 40R, and only down to 7 for King RD, but it's just, they're playing with fire every time they go into a fight, and they're losing value in their items instead of gaining it. Like, obviously, we see the PA has farmed up quite a bit, but if this next item pickup doesn't do something crazy good, then I just don't know.
Oh, Fog trying to set it up on the King RD. Stan King just barely misses the arrow. That'll give Razor time to get off his BKB, and they can't interrupt him even though it expired about half a second there as he was TPing home. Razor will live, although it's another BKB charged used. Down to 6 seconds rather. PA's is still sitting at 9 seconds, so still in great shape on that front, but now an Abyssal Blade grabbed by 4DR, so putting that gold he got from ending the streak on Korok to good use, and now does have a big lockdown item. No BKBs on the side of Navi US, but still very useful in securing kills on some of these elusive targets.
I feel like he has to get an Abyssal kill before Roche spawns, otherwise this item's just not enough. Like, it's great. It really is good against Ember Spirit. It's fine against plenty of other heroes, and it's perfect PA, but she doesn't have the ability to reinforce now that she doesn't have buyback. So unless she kills somebody, catches out Korok right here, this could be huge. Oh, look at the damage! That's exactly what you need to do with that item.
Well, there you go. He said it, Blaze. So now Roche, it's still a while before Roche comes up. Korok will have respawned by then. But Navi US, this is not quite unthrowable. They still have a huge lead, and it'll take a lot more pickoffs like that to throw this game away. But it's still it's still there for Pain Gaming. They have all of their barracks standing. They do still have this PA who's starting to get a little scarier. And more importantly, I guess, Korok getting slowed down quite a bit, though he is quite close to his second Daedalus. Now Moonlight Shadow used. They're going to converge onto the Razor. Fog looking for vengeance. Couldn't find the kill last time, but Razor does have his BKB cooled down. There is no Echo Slam, but they'll have a short-range arrow. Will connect. There's the BKB. He'll TP home, and Razor, he lives once more. Oh, Navi US getting sloppy.
Yeah, they needed a bigger arrow than that. Otherwise, they don't have the chain stun to prevent that. Because he doesn't care about his BKB charges anymore. He's down to 6 seconds. 5 seconds is no different. So he's perfectly fine with popping the charge and surviving. We're going to see the Stampede Boobit. Snake King is pinned down here. They have the Abyssal if they need it. And yes, that hammers home the Ice Blast. Snake King with the mech, but still he will fall. And yeah, this Abyssal has put them back in the game. They've gotten a huge gold swing, not just with Korok losing his life that one time, but building it off with a second kill. Now the death of Viper. It's all money for the PA, so she not only has the Abyssal, but still has 9 seconds BKB and has buyback. There is no guaranteed siege from Navi US anymore.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. You hit the nail on the head. they've been getting these kills without using the BKB. So this is one of those early pickups that still has a lot of value as we're starting to get towards the end of the mid-game, and these late-game pickups need to come out. King RD, 3,300 gold. I hope he's going for a refresher for his sake. That's another big item that could help Pain Gaming get back into this game. The double Eye of the Storm is absurd, not only for taking down structures, but in team fights. The damage it does is ridiculous on top of the amount of physical damage PA puts out. So Razor, if he wants it, well, not too far off the mark. Centaur looking like perhaps a Black King Bar could be in his future, though. That Ogre Club is going for a Halberd. No complaints would come from me, Blaze. Still no BKB on Korok, so a Halberd could go a long way.
Yeah, we'll see the progression levels. Right now, I think they always are going to be looking for more control, just to try to keep themselves in a position where they can deal with the Ember Spirit. So I don't think that's a bad choice, but it's the real question of whether the Centaur even gets in position to get the Halberd off on the Ember Spirit before Korok strikes, because one sleight of fist that he's not disarmed, and that's still half the team if it's in the right positions. So I think they need to spread out, kind of get a flank attack, maybe a smoke even, and then look to Stampede in to try to make that play happen, no matter if he has a Halberd or not.
Yeah. Could also be useful on Snake King, who also isn't going the BKB route. He is indeed looking for the heart, has the recipe and the booster, and 1,000 gold away from the Reaver. So not too far off that super tanky item. But Navi US, they've kind of had to turtle up on their side of the map a little bit. Korok's been caught out a couple times now for his aggression, and now looking at the Roche timer, will be up in about 45 seconds. Is on the longer end of the RNG, close to that 3-minute mark. And Navi US will start to position around the pit, recognizing that it will be up in the near future. Astral Spirit goes into the pit to scout it out. And meanwhile, in the top lane, Pain Gaming moving into the Tier 1 tower. That'll force Snake King to TP back. And Centaur and Razor will start backing up to get into a better position. Both of them have TPs. No easy access points to TP2 in terms of Roche control. But they'll be just fine. No fight breaking out yet.
Pretty big rune to bottle up, though. King RD here at the 37.25 has bottled up a double damage rune. So if the fight breaks out within 2 minutes, as it should with Roche respawning, he can actually pop the BKB first, then the double damage rune, and get some really hard right clicks early in the fight. Usually Razor builds up his approach. He's able to hit hard after about 8 or 9 seconds. But again, they need to strike when the Ice Blast is hot in that 8-second frame, or 9-second frame now. So the double damage actually accomplishes a lot in terms of bringing their damage to the front of the fight instead of towards the mid and late.
You're so punny, Blaze. The fiery, hot Ice Blast. Look at you. Uh-oh. Top lane, or bottom lane. That's what I'm looking at. King RD, he's in some trouble as Korok comes in, but who's the one that's really in trouble here? It's Korok that's going to die. And the Razor will fall to the Earth Splitter. PA got picked off in the top. And it will end up being a 1-for-2 across the map. And Navi US find the better of it. Both teams lose their carries at a very special time when Roshan has respawned onto the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pickoff on the PA should have been bigger, but with Korok extending at the exact same time, I don't think that was a good move. Obviously, if they have one opening, they should take it, but knowing they're not one place, you're going to be completely screwed over the other location. Ned will throw out the Ice Blast onto the Invis Grand Grant, but in the end, he will just be rocked by that enchant totem of Earthshaker.
Yeah, Base and Tremble will come out, and the Iceman will shatter. They'll be able to scout out Roche. Both teams should know that he's up now, just based on the timing. Ending as a 1-for-3 around the map. Navi US holding steady with that momentum they lost moments prior from all the kills they handed over following the Abyssal Blade. And right back in it. So I think the battle for Roche will be what's coming up next here, as now Snake King tanking up with the full heart of Tarask, and Korok will be respawning here in just a couple moments.
Now, I want to note that this is on 6.82c, so, I mean, if we're even considering a couple of patch iterations before, the comeback gold killing off Korok these multiple times would be just, like, completely swinging the game in favor of Pain. As it stands, I mean, it's still helping them out a little bit, keeping them in it, but it's definitely not as big as it used to be. Like, Navi US had complete net worth control, Korok was at the very top, and although he's died 3 times, it's still going to be 17,000 net worth, still 1k behind him. So very important to note that the scaling of golden experience and those comeback mechanics have been nerfed multiple times over, and although it's still very relevant, it's not going to be the complete game breaker here.
And now the real big item pickup on the Elder Titan is Grant has found a lot of farm now with a lot of assists under his belt. He finds a Shiva's Guard, and he'll also be level 16 Great item against the PA in general, and just a
Dire's
good
middle
utility to
tower
get onto
is
the field in
under
these
attack.
team fights. Stan King in some trouble, multicast, and the
boy.
follow-up is enough to bring him down in a matter of seconds as 40R finds a crit. But now the dunk from Fog, the follow-up damage from Navi US. They'll lose their Centaur, and the rest of this Dire team taking a lot of damage. QQQ goes down, but the multitask on cast on Korok before he goes down. Now the BKB used by PA jumps on Grant. Will take a Viper Strike, but it's actually Navi US that don't come out ahead in this fight. Pain Gaming with the turn. They'll find the kill onto the Elder Titan. Snake King gets left behind. He gets dropped like a rock, and it's Fog, the lone survivor. Will he be able to make it out? It looks like he will. Pain Gaming. Oh my gosh, 4DR just dropping the hammer there, Blaze.
Yeah, really. He was RNGing so hard. I mean, obviously, he got the guaranteed Abyssal Blade, but he got 2 crits in the duration of that Abyssal Blade, and then he was able to get a number of really good bashes and evades against Snake King there. Just absolutely RNGing the hell of that fight, and yeah, he was actually multitasking pretty well with the fact that he was jumping from target to target. Like, as soon as he knew that Korok was gone, he was immediately on the next one, and they were able to snowball that hard, even though the Ice Blast was actually a complete whiff from Ned. So they just, in PA we trust, and using that 9-second BKB charge so damn well.
Yep, that Ogre Man, he was multitasking and he was multicasting all over the place there. And all of a sudden, PA has his Aegis of the Immortal, a plate mail, which we'll see what it turns into, probably an AC. But Razor, he's gone for the Heart of Tarask, so not the refresher I was thinking, but with 2,200 gold, he could be on his way to that as his next item coming up. Even the Ancient Apparition now moving towards an Aghanim Scepter, has 2 of the core pieces, a little more than halfway there with 200 in the bank. Things looking a lot better for the Dire side all of a sudden. Only a 4,000 gold lead and experience has been zeroed out. Navi US were once safe in this game, but even look at the net worth chart now, Blaze. There are the 2 cores of Pain Gaming topping the charts, have dethroned Korok, and this Glass Cannon build that he went for has really bit him in the ass.
Yeah, this is very painful now. I honestly think that a couple of the deaths were throws, but that now they're really trying to make sure they don't have any more losses. But that last fight was just too damn good from Pain. Like, at this point, I would have to say that both teams have an equal chance of locking down. Even though the momentum is favoring Pain right now, I still think that Korok's farm is absolutely absurd. Snaking obviously has a lot going for him, and I entrust this Fogged Earthshaker to do a lot of work on the defensive, even more so on the offensive. So I think that Pain have a lot going for them, and they're completely back in the game. But I won't say that just because they have 2 heroes at the top, they're not going to automatically win it. But at least for this 4-minute frame where the Aegis is still intact on PA, she's rocking this BKB, Abyssal, and AC. She pretty much is untouchable, at least for this 4-minute frame.
Yeah, Razor farming the Radiant Ancients needs to be a little careful here. They're still to converge.
Really?
5-second arrow. King RD. No, they won't jump on it. I think they're afraid it could be bait.
On Pain at all. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
the right move not to go for it, but man, that would have been a huge pick.
Yep. Well, Navi US, they've got this Earthshaker with a lot of money, Fogged. What are you saving up for, friend? It doesn't collect interest. 4,000 gold on this shaker. And I don't know. What are you thinking here, Blaze? What's your core or Fog to be looking to invest in?
Always a sheep stick against PA. Like, I mean, obviously, like to say like Aghanim Scepter and Refresher and all these cool things, Veiled Discord, whatever. But this PA just needs to die. She needs to not get her BKB off, and the Blink Hex is the way to do that. So we'll see him actually just go for some smokes for now. Still banking, but yeah, E-Blade is okay actually. Just like you can use it defensively on teammates like the Ember Spirit, and whenever he gets Abyssal Bladed, and I mean, there's magic damage coming out from the Ogre, obviously, but it's better than being crit down by the PA.
Yeah, at this point, you got to choose the lesser of 2 evils. These crits are in the 4 digits now, so yeah, that hurts quite a bit. We'll see. He does have that Ghost Scepter. I was thinking E-Blade is a potential option, but Fog perhaps keeping his options open. Both good tools to work against the Phantom Assassin. Now, Ember Spirit hasn't found any item progression since that second data list, and he picked it up nearly 10 minutes ago. He will find 2,000 gold, but we'll see initiation. Ned! Uh-oh! He gets dunked. They'll find the kill there, but it does take the Echo Slam from Fogged. Pretty girthy cooldown. But they still find a kill nonetheless, so not too shabby.
Yeah, and they are just trying to wait out this Aegis timing for PA. So by getting a kill on the Ancient Apparition for almost 50 seconds there, they're going to nullify the Aegis's potential because it's already at about the 3-minute mark. So when the Ancient Apparition respawns, they start rallying, it's going to be not even 45 seconds before the Aegis is going to despawn. So they won't actually want to take a fight with it. 40R will just use it as a blanket, a security, but he won't actually be able to use it to push into a prime objective.
So 45 minutes, we're getting into that late game here, Blaze. Who do you think has the actual late game advantage in terms of carry power? Ember Spirit, one of the best carries in terms of scaling with items towards the late game, but PA with all this farm, that RNG factor is somewhat undeniable.
I think it actually doesn't even come nearly as much down to the carries as much to the utility of the supports behind them. If you see like Aghanim Scepter come out for the Elder Titan, if you see Sheepstick or something come out against the PA or the Razor, then that's a completely different story than what we've been looking at throughout this game. They haven't been controlled at all to this point. But yeah, PA right now I think has the more potential because she has the lockdown against Ember Spirit. But if they get some lockdown against her instead, they could be turning it back. But we do see Fog going a different route with this Hearted Harass.
I was just going to bring that up, and you know, this is eerily reminiscent of, I think I was casting with Coddle Guy, but oh crap, what team was it? Oh, now I forgot. It was a Sand King who was out of control, has all this gold, and we were thinking about, oh great, he's going to get a Veil, he's going to get all these great damage items, and he went a Hearted Harass, and it did absolutely nothing.
Well, I would have to say that's not comparable to the situation. Earthshaker scales hard on strength. He scales really damn hard. Because in Enchant Totem, it's all about the base damage. So I would say the Sand King and Earthshaker are night and day as far as, oh shoot, this looks so big.
Yeah, something's going to break out here. We'll get back to this heated debate in a moment as Stampede's used defensively, but now they're going on to Snake King. The Abyssal comes out right away, multi-cast, Jesus. But he will get force-stabbed by his friends. And that's where this fight will end, at least for now. A lot of return damage out on the PA also. 4DR will make the retreat. Not too much time left on the Aegis. And it will expire actually here momentarily. So being very cautious not to get caught off guard right as that second life dissipates. So neither side will find a kill. And but yeah, no, you're definitely right. Not quite a comparable analogy in terms of the heroes, but I mean just more utility-wise. I think a Scythe of Ice or an E-Blade just offers so much more than a tankier Earthshaker.
Yeah, I think it's about the damage, though. I don't think it's about the HP. I mean, the HP is a nice side effect of Hearted Harass, but he's really looking for the Enchant Totem crits. And since you can't rely on them against a blurring PA, the one with the evasion, you're going to be looking to actually bring down supports really quickly. If you blink and just stomp Ned, you prevent a fight from happening, because they don't want to fight without Ice Blast. So I honestly think that there's value in it. It probably isn't my preference compared to a Hex, but all the same, if he is able to, like, two-shot a support hero because of it, then you can still do a lot, and we do see the Hexes kind of becoming unnecessary as Korok does pick up the MKB. He's a glass cannon as it can be if you look at his items, but at the very least he will be able to hit the PA directly now. Yeah,
literally no stats. Arrow will hit on an illusion, but 1,300 crit on that illusion. Of course, they take extra damage, but still some big numbers coming out from Korok with that MKB, and this is... yeah, this is the big choice, and it's getting interesting. I'm really excited to see how this ends up working with the Earthshaker. It will be fun to see those big totems come out on this super squishy Ned, who, by the way, is not that far away from his Aghanims now. Just that point booster, and he'll have it.
Yeah, and this it kind of seems like Ember and Earthshaker are both going the same line of items. They're saying we just want to do crazy damage to one or two heroes very quickly, and then obviously the dust will settle in our favor after that if they can just take a couple heroes out of the fight. Fog already charging up his Enchant Totem to start this fight off if they need to jump, and King RD seems to be the target, but he does have a butterfly for everybody except for the Ember.
Yeah, Arrow coming in, almost hits him, but there's your Stampede. That'll buy him some time. Snake King taking the heavy damage. Grant hops in, takes damage in return. Grant will actually be the first to go down. BKB's used it plenty. Now they find Snake King. 4DR finds the kill. It's a 2-for-0 to get things started, but in comes Fog with the dunk. Finds a quick kill on 2. Soon to be a third on the Ogre if they can bring him down. Now 4DR locked in place, and Navi US will find the proper itemization. An ultra kill for Korok, and it ends as a 2-for-5 exchange. This Ember Spirit just doing absurd amounts of damage to follow up the beautiful dunk from Fogged. And Navi US now headed towards the base. What's the buyback status? Not looking so great for the Dire side. Just the PA and the Ogre that will be able to buy back into the game, and that, simply put, might not be enough.
That looked like a close, like a really big stompy fight with the Ultra Kill, but it was actually extremely close, like on a knife's edge. The PA jumped on Korok, but he had Moonlight Shadow and they were outside of detection range, so she couldn't Abyssal, just crit him down. If Korok dies there, he didn't have buyback, he just bought out for the MKB. That would have been absolutely immense, but Korok lives through the help of the Moonlight Shadow, 40 just outside of his enemy's range of vision, and he has to choose a different target. So suddenly the tables are turned, Na'Vi US pull out this amazing fight, and we've got 4,600 gold on Korok. Like, it's absolutely insane how close that fight could have been.
Yep. Well, not over quite yet. They did have to use 2 buybacks on the PA as well as the Ogre, and they did lose their Tier 3 tower mid, but Na'Vi US not out of the clear yet. As you've been pointing out here, Blaze, it was a pretty close call, and with pretty glass cannon-y heroes, it just takes a couple crits, and if Ember Spirit gets chopped down, things are a lot different. He will now pick up
buyback now is the big thing. Like, I was so afraid for the MKB pickup because he dies once and the game's over. But the fact that he lived, the fact that 40R is the one that bought back, I would have to say that Na'Vi US are actually quite comfortable right now.
Yeah, well, third Roche is up, and that is Cheese, most naturally. We'll see who moves into it. Double damage on PA. The Rune of Many Wins has built up this reputation, and for good reason. In the mid lane, Fogged jumps on the Ancient Apparition, finds the dunk, and picks up an easy solo kill. It's a godlike streak for the Shaker, who is 9-1-18. Fogged on an absolute rampage right now. Moonlight Shadow deploy. They'll go on to King RD. The Bolas connect, and follow-up damage won't be there. Snake King takes a dagger. That'll slow him out, but Fogged sets it up on 2. Arrow flying through. Off the mark once more. PA with a double damage, and it's Na'Vi US without a fear in the world. They know that they don't have buybacks right now, and if they can take one more successful fight, that will be the game. Ancient Apparition caught without buyback for now. Snake King just moves to the high ground, starts doing the sure damage onto the ranged barracks. Getting harassed a bit, but very tanky with that Heart of Tarrasque. Also with the mech. He is the ideal target to be taking this bit of chip damage.
Yeah, but it is going to be up soon. They have to make the move. Oh! Look at the damage with that cleave.
Korok just taking them so low. The BKB used, but it doesn't matter. Centaur's going to have to hoof it back to the base. 40R goes out the front lines. BKB on, but it's not enough. He'll get chopped down. No buyback. PA in the grave for 100 seconds. This will be the final fight of the game, it looks like. Now the Razor goes down. The double kill for Korok. They'll dive it onto Ned. Grant comes in, and the spectators so excited. They're throwing out ASCII characters. And Fog, wow, 800 hits from the totem, the Heart of Tarrasque. I feel bad for doubting the Master because he is doing some serious damage. 10, 1, and 21. Fog has been involved in 31 of the 39 kills in this game. That is just absurd.
Fogged is absolutely insane, man. He's just, whatever hero he's playing, he's trying to be relevant, trying to make the plays happen. But with this Earthshaker, it really panned out. The early game momentum, a couple of picks on the Centaur, some good roams towards the mid, and he had the Blink Dagger before the Centaur did. The Centaur is 0, 10, and 7, and Fogged is 10, 1, and 21. I mean, it's just completely opposite sides of the spectrum here as far as contribution from these big AoE stunners. And yeah, don't doubt the Crit Lord here. He's got that big enchant totem, and he knows how to use it. But Korok, man, those last couple of cleaves were just absolutely insane. Obviously, we've seen the potential of Ember Spirit in the past, but it's been a really long time since I've seen this big of an Ember Spirit go on the offensive.
Yep, the overlays here. Mott joining me for the post-analysis. Good stuff,
Nice,
but
nice.
I'm Zyori, joined by Blaze. Thanks for joining us, folks. We've got one more game coming up for America coverage tonight, and we're going to take a break as that game was scheduled to start 20 minutes ago. It's been nothing but long games today, so we're not going to delay any longer. We'll be back after this short break with our final match of the night.